Where you gonna run? Where you gonna hide? Nowhere. 'Cause there's no one like you left. That's right.
Welcome everyone to the Best Damn Podcast. I am your host, John Keane. As always, I would like to thank you guys for joining me. Ask that you please add, follow, and check us out, www.spreaker.com/user/Best Damn Podcast. Always check us out, thebestdampodcast.tv. Sorry, I got my mind crossed there. Follow me, Instagram at Best Damn Podcast, Twitter, The Real Best Damn. Hit the like, leave a comment, let me know what you think, and share the link, get it out there, that way other people can see it. It's the number one way to support and help us out, is just by helping other people find us and give them something different than what they're used to seeing on the mainstream media. Also, if you'd like to support and donate, you can do that in the links below: PayPal, Venmo, Patreon, Cash App, and Facebook Messenger Pay. Let me just say thank you to everybody who catches this, everybody who sees this. It was really funny today. Matter of fact, instead of donations, I got money requests today. So please don't send me money requests, okay? If you want to donate, that's cool, but I'm not going to pay you. So yeah. But anyways, thank you guys for joining me. Tonight we're going to be talking about, and the writer's name was Death. I didn't put death in the title, very obviously, because I didn't want to trigger the algorithms. But I'm sure you guys get the picture, you know what I mean? So let me see who's in the chat here. Who we got? Looks like we have Ways Easy, Lower Class Citizen, Mystery Dawn Johnson, Wildman. Thank you. I appreciate everybody. Very awesome. I've got some cool stuff to talk about, some cool stuff to share. You know, it's pretty self-explanatory. At least you would think it is, okay? I talk to a lot of people each day, people from different walks of life, right? Like some people are more towards Christian-centered beliefs. Some are more into the occult. Some, you know, are super conspiratorial. I get all different types of people. And what I find is that, you know, despite the fact it seems like so many people are waking up, right? It's really not happening like the way it seems. When you're surrounded by a bunch of people that already know what's going on, it's like, damn, everybody's waking up. Everybody's getting it, man, you know? But it's really just the fact that we're in these communities where people do get it. And I almost get a culture shock sometimes when I talk to people outside of them, you know? They'll ask me questions about the different things that are going on with the Mark of the Beast, or, you know, questions about what's going on with the asteroids and Planet X and all of this. And, you know, you have to almost think the media does everything it can to, like, filter out the truth, right? They've got a million different reasons they punch people in the face with on a daily basis of why this is happening, why that's happening. You know, climate change. Oh, it's your fault that the world is, you know, got a bunch of volcanoes erupting and earthquakes. Like that even makes any sense whatsoever. We all know the climate's changing, but it's the reason that a lot of us don't agree on. Or, you know, what's going on in space. You know, you have some people that believe there's sun simulators, some people that are showing that it's mirroring systems. But then at the same time, you get so much division within the truther groups, or the people that are showing this. You know, people just throw all this shit out the window. So I guess tonight my thing is, I just want anybody that sees this video or sees any of my videos to keep an open mind. And whatever you've learned from somewhere else, I'm not here to tell you that it's wrong. I'm not here to tell you that you have to believe what I believe or think how I think. I'm just saying, don't throw everything away just because it doesn't jive with what you've heard before, you know? It's really important for us, just as people in general, right, to have an open mind in life, right? Open ourselves up to any possibility. It's like if you ever see a person, right, they're so centered and so focused on one thing, oh, I need this blessing, right? And they're looking for one thing in particular in their life, and they're missing all of the other good things that are going on around them. Well, I think that can happen in a variety of ways, right? If we're just focused on one piece of information all the time, one school of thought all the time, then we can miss all the cool things that we can learn. And it might be the thing that you learn that just would save your ass. I don't hear nobody right now talking about the Torahs. And I did see that in the Best Damn Podcast Facebook group, somebody dropped a document and wanted me to read it. And I was taking a look at it, man. There's a lot of information out here, talking about these catastrophic cycles. And I do believe that we are right on the verge of that. If we look at the scriptures, and I'm not a religious cat in the least, right? And that should be obvious to you at this point if you've watched me before. But I do believe in God, and I do believe in, that living spirit that's within us. We have this uncanny ability to project our spirit into everything. Everything we create, whether it's art or music or literature, right? Things that we write. And since we all kind of share this spirit, this living spirit within us, I call it the I am, or you might call it God or Christ or whatever, right? This spirit doesn't lie. And when we can tap into that, we have the ability to see things in the future, to see what's happened in the past, and to have a clear awareness of what's going on in the present. And I think that when it talks about in the Bible how God breathed life into the words, I think that's what it's speaking of. The life was in the person writing it down, right? And throughout time, people that were also in that spirit have kind of pieced together those things that contain that life. And now we call it the Bible. There's a million other texts that have that same life in it. I don't just believe it's in the Bible, but I use the Bible because most people can relate to it. When we see what's happened with this giant ritual, this spell, and I go into a lot of videos. I talk about how everything you see in the media is just that. It's a ritual. It's a spell, right? They've got, and this is through the words, because the words are the key to this reality. And that's why you see in like John, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God. Right? Christ being the Word, and he has the keys to death and Hades. It's the keys to this world and the underworld to set us free. The truth will set us free, right? So we see how all of this kind of started with 9/11. Most people would agree with that. It was very symbolic. That was the two towers, right? They knocked them down and the two became one. It was the end of essentially duality for those that are of the light, right? We was breaking out of this dualistic prison, right? This phantom, this projection we find ourselves in, and able to kind of master that carnal side, that lower side, and get into the I am, making the two become one. On the other side of the spectrum, they were doing the same, but that red and blue, that solar and that lunar, those two pillars, they are unifying in a whole different way. And it's what you would call the hive mind, the Antichrist spirit, whatever, right? As above, so below. If you look on both sides, right? As the evil rises, and you can see the evil rising in this world, the good rises too, right? You can't have one without the other because of the nature of creation. We look at Revelations 9:11, and it says, who did not have the seal of God on their foreheads? Look at the mark and all it contains, and look at what it attacks, right? We know that the magnetic poles of our bodies is our pineal gland. And when you look at what a seal is a stamp impressed, right? A mark, a brand impressed. And this is in our third temple. That's where the seal is located, or pineal gland. Now, all of the people that are falling for this agenda, which you see it's an agenda very obviously now, right? They replace all of the people in healthcare with FEMA in the military. You look over in the UK, they have gas shortages, right? But next thing you know, it's the military handing it out little by little, very incrementally. We've walked into this soft martial law, and the chokehold on people in their everyday life is forcing them to capitulate to this agenda. You know, I can't really say what that agenda is, but let's just say, you know, it's that, and that's the mark, right? Matter of fact, I should be doing a private show tomorrow night, and I just seen under the microscope how this stuff crystallizes, and we talk about the black goo or the graphene and how it replaces, you know, we're carbon-based beings, a carbon within our body, right? Essentially creating a transformation within us, right? Not like a transfiguration that it talks about of those who ascend, but a different one, right? There's one on both ends of the spectrum. Now, as this happens, this should let you know that we are in that time of the tribulation, right? If you're as far as the mark of the beast, and if you don't think that the mark's rolled out, well, I don't know what to tell you. You might want to reread this book, but it is. And that's a signal, that's a sign to all of us that these things are also taking place. On this channel, if you go back to the video 999 completion, I go through and we talk about these seals, right? These seals and what they entail. The coronavirus was the first seal. I'm not going to get into the details. We've seen the peace taken from the earth with the George Floyd and all of the different protests and all of that. Then we have the third seal, which is where we are now, walking into the fourth, which is the balance scale. This is yoking you into servitude through law and obligation. Look around at the mandates that are taking place. This is the laws and the obligations that are yoking you into the beast system. Matter of fact, I just had somebody call me today with this very same concern. They're like, hey man, how am I going to feed my family? You know what I mean? How am I going to do this if I don't go along with this agenda? Right? This is what it's meant to do. I even seen, and I'll show you in just a moment, there's articles out right now that are saying, oh, the supply shortages, once again, they're flipping it on you because it's all about creating guilt and oppression and shame within us, right? Just like I was talking about, we're the ones who fucked up the earth, so it's all our fault, right? Now the supply shortage is on us too, somehow. Right? It's all because we're buying too much. It's not because they have the ships and the shipping containers and shit just sitting there. It's not because they ordered farmers to burn their crops, right? It's not because they actually polluted the water. It's not because they've been shutting down nuclear power plants and all of this, and there's different energy crises in California and all of this going on. None of that. Not because they dumped 126,000 gallons of crude oil right off the coast of Orange County. Couldn't be. It's because you're buying too much, right? That's why the supply shortage is happening. And this is what they do. We know that we're heading into hyperinflation because they're devaluing all the currency. This is all part of the beast system as well, the digital currency, right? When the national emergency was declared, 311 at 333 by Trump. We also seen at that very same time the patent come out for the World Order 2020-666A1, which we've talked about. This is the cryptocurrency system using body activity data, right? The number of the beast is right in there, among many other things. The U.S. Code 666 that we've seen with the executive orders, bringing in measles into the communicable diseases. I mean, it goes on and on. The Trace Act, H.R. 6666, right? And the arrival of Apophis, which is the next sign in the Revelations 12 prophecy, the 99942. You flip that over, it's 666, signifying the final 42 months. But then we get here. Then when the Lamb opened the fourth seal, I heard the fourth living creature saying, come, and I looked, and here came a pale green horse. And the one who rode its name was Death, and Hades followed right behind. They were given authority over a fourth of the earth to kill its population with the sword, famine, disease, and by the wild animals of the earth. Now, if you think about what's taking place right here, I've told you in the past that green in the Greek means to comply, right? It means to go along with, to capitulate. So that's what this is representing. You have everybody being pressed down on in the third seal, right? Through the law and obligation, the mandates created. Well, in the fourth seal, you have the people that went along with it. And the rest are experiencing death and hell. Death and hell, in my opinion, death in Hades, is a celestial alignment in the stars, but it's also an actual event. And it's this, right? It's the trumpets blowing. And it brings me here. You see the seven angels holding the seven trumpets? The first angel blew his trumpet, and there was hail and fire mixed with blood. And it was thrown into the earth, so that a third of the earth was burned up. A third of the trees were burned up, and all the green grass was burned up. Now, take a look around, friends. Right now, and we all know that everything happens on cosmic cycles. The earth is preparing to go through the torrids once again. I told you just the other day that Nostradamus talks about the same prophecy, but it's containing this guy, Enki, Comet Enki in it, pertaining to Venus being occulted by the sun, and Mercury is light giving light to this occult figure, which would be Lucifer or Enki. Happens on the same exact day that Apophis passed, or that next sign in the Bible. We can look around us at this very moment, and they're telegraphing this as well. Here, let me show you. There's America. America isn't running out of supplies because of them. It's from you. Okay, right here. Or maybe. Asteroids 500 plus feet in diameter are fast approaching Earth very soon. NASA's asteroid tracker indicates that a series of asteroids larger than the Great Pyramid of Giza will be approaching Earth. For reference, the Great Pyramid of Giza has a diameter of 756 feet. And according to NASA's Center for Near-Earth Object Studies, asteroid 2021 SM3 with a diameter of 525 feet passed by Earth just this Friday, at a distance of 3.5 million miles. The asteroid was only first discovered a few weeks ago, according to CBS News, which I do not buy, and you're going to see in this paper in just a minute. They've known about this for a long time now, guys. Every time these torrids come around, they do some damage. For those that don't know, a near-Earth object are comets and asteroids that have been pushed into the Earth's neighborhood by the gravity of other large-mass celestial bodies, such as nearby planets. Matter of fact, Jupiter just took a hit from a large body as well, and they're now saying, which I showed you the article the other day, that aliens or something is sending signals from the center of the Milky Way. I just showed you the other day that those signals that they're receiving also are the same from a dwarf star, right? Now, NASA researchers believe that NEOs hold the secrets for the evolution of our solar system, as they formed from untouched debris when the solar system was first developing 4.6 billion years ago. The Center for the NEO study said, if we wish to know the composition of the primordial mixture from which the planets formed, then we must determine the chemical constituents of the leftover debris from this formation process. The comets and asteroids. Wednesday, October 20th, which is about to be in about an hour from now, my time, asteroid 1996 VB3 that has a diameter of 690 feet. That's 700 fucking feet. That's big, dude. Will safely pass by the Earth at a distance of 2 million miles. Notice how they're getting closer. Asteroid 1996 VB3 will be asteroid 2017 SJ20 that has a diameter of up to 600 feet. And it'll pass at 4.5 million miles on the 25th. NASA notes, no one should be overly concerned about an Earth impact of an asteroid or comet. The threat to any one person from auto accidents, disease, other natural disasters, and a variety of other problems is much higher than the threat from NEOs. However, the emergency added, over long periods of time, the chances of Earth being impacted are not negligible. At this moment, our best insurance rests with the NEO scientists and their effort to first find these objects and then track their motions into the future. We need to find them first and keep an eye on them. So if we're relying on them, they just said that giant ass one that was like 750 feet wide, that they found it just a week before it passed. Or how about the one that was a planet killer just a week or so ago that they found after it passed? So good thing we can put our faith in them, right? Nothing bad will happen. Matter of fact, that reminds me, I'm going to pull up this as well, the Shatner quote, because I do believe he leaked something with that, which we'll get into that a little bit later as we move through this. Now, right here, how to stop an asteroid, pulverize it. What you're also going to see, and I believe that these things are going hand in hand, is a lot of the nuclear war, or a lot about nuclear missiles. They're talking about how they're going to use them to stop asteroids, or how nuclear winters could create these giant famines and all of this. And it's all coming out right now, because I do believe, and I've always kind of believed this, that World War III and asteroid impacts will go hand in hand. Because they can cover up meteors, asteroid impacts, because it's the same consequences, right, if one impacts as what a nuclear bomb would be. I mean, even though an asteroid is significantly more powerful than a nuke, if you have a giant hypersonic missile which behaves like a meteor, well, then you can almost kind of, pull the wool over people's eyes like they have with so many other things. And if you see that most of the population is already under this strong delusion, then it's not out of the realm a possibility to think that they're going to be fooled by this shit too, right? It says an asteroid just zipped past Earth closer than the moon's orbit. There was never a threat to our planet. Sure. They wouldn't tell you if there was, and you should know that by now as well, right? They would never tell you if there was. A bust-sized asteroid just made a harmless close pass by our planet on Sunday. Asteroid 2021 TG14 passed by Earth at a distance of roughly 155,000 miles, and that's within the orbit of our moon, which orbits at an average distance of 239,000 miles. NASA's always interested in close passes like this, just in case astronomers can get some valuable telescope time for a rare close-up glimpse of a small world. And they freely posted all the orbital parameters of the objects for the public to see. The agent's Planetary Defense Coordination Office works with other government agencies and a network of partner telescopes to keep an eye on potentially threatening objects. But this asteroid isn't one of them, and they found no imminent threats to our planet. Coincidentally, the approach is taking place as asteroids once again are hitting the news in both fact and fiction. Just on Saturday the 16th, NASA launched its Lucifer mission that will eventually focus on asteroids in Jupiter's orbit known as the Trojans, which Jupiter just got hit, by the way. Where's that? Right here. Jupiter whacked again. Japanese astronomers record possible impact. A group of Japanese astronomers just discovered a potential new impact on the planet Jupiter. And see, they're sending Lucifer out there to go look at Jupiter. Nothing to worry about, but Jupiter got slapped again. Get your scorecards out. Jupiter just took another interplanetary hit. If it's confirmed, it would be the 11th observed comet or asteroid strike at the gas giant since the pieces of Comet Shoemaker Levy 9 slammed into Jupiter in 1994. A little more than a month after 5 amateurs independently record a similar flash, a little under a month ago, A team of astronomers led by Ko Aramatsu of Kyoto University filmed this most recent flare in Jupiter's clouds. Let's take a look at what they got. And there's no sound on this, so it's not just me. Right there. Wow. That's a fucking big ass asteroid impact. If it made a giant flare from a telescope and we could see it that big from the Earth. I'm just saying. Keep in mind, Jupiter's part of the Great Conjunction, and it's part of all of these prophecies. I'm still not completely convinced that Jupiter, isn't a major part of all this. It's also Marduk right there. See? Right here where my cursor is. If you're looking at home, this is the impact on Jupiter, and this is what I mean. Look how big that planet is. That would have destroyed the entire Earth. Earth is about the size of that impact, as opposed to Jupiter, right? Jupiter's that much bigger than us, So if you really think about it, this would have destroyed our entire planet. An asteroid impact like that on Jupiter. Just saying. And look how much energy. Go back to the beginning here. Look at that. Look how long it lasts. Now watch. Here we go. Here's the impact. And look at that. Look how big it spreads out and how long it spreads out. That is crazy. Now Aramatsu and the group used a surveillance system called PUNCOTS as part of the organized Auto Telescopes for Serendipitous Event Survey, or OASIS, project to make their discovery. The event occurred in Jupiter's North Tropical Zone near the southern edge of the North Temperate Belt at latitude 20 degrees north, longitude 201 degrees, System 2. From the video, the burst lasted about 4 seconds. It quickly rises into visibility and maintains a steady light for about 2 seconds, then swiftly disappears. According to the Exoplanet Society, an average of 6.5 objects 10 meters across and larger, that is, big enough for amateurs to record, hit Jupiter each year. Aided by transient alert software like Detect, we've seen a steady uptick in the number of impacts in recent years, proving that the more we look, the more we see. Or could it just be more shits coming at us? The most recent impact in September didn't produce a visible impact scar. This one may not either, but both events make us keenly aware of the potential hazards that still lurk in our system. And they don't mention the size of this at all. They give you the size of a bunch of small-ass asteroids that could have not even close to made this type of impact, guys. Like, we wouldn't have seen that if they were just a couple of meters. So I'm just saying, this just happened as we're about to go through the Taurids as well, right? And we have the Orinids, Arids. I mean, we've got a lot of things that are taking place in the skies right now. And remember, when we look at the Arctic ice, guys, in the Lost Book of Enki, when did they know the event was about to happen? That's right, when the Doomsday Glacier broke. And look what's going on in the Arctic right now. Huge hole discovered in the Arctic's last ice. That lets you know, guys, we're really fucking close. We're really close. That's a huge hole in the last ice, right? Just saying. People need to understand, like, it's not a game. It's not a joke. This stuff has happened over and over again. Now, coincidentally, the approach is taking, well, where am I at? These new missions are only the latest in the line long of spacecraft, and the Netflix star comedy Don't Look Up will release in December. The film follows a long line of fictional movie asteroids threatening the Earth and catalogs some responses by White House officials and the impending problem. Yeah, they're making light of it, trying to make it, entertainment. That way you won't believe it. Asteroids the size of Empire State Building to make close encounter with the Earth. Massive asteroids, including one the size of the Empire State Building, are predicted to make close encounters with Earth in the coming weeks. with one set to whiz by as early as Wednesday night. The Space Rock 2004 UE, which is at 1,246 feet, is only a few feet shorter than the Midtown skyscraper and will be 2.6 million miles away on November 13th. Of the asteroids headed our way, 1996 VB3 has a diameter of 750 feet, expected to come only a distance of 2.1 million miles, and the distance close compared to our nearest neighbor, Venus, which is 70 million miles, is expected to whiz by at a speed of roughly 9 million miles per second. That is fast. And the asteroid's appearance will follow that of Space Rock 2021 SM3, which was reported to zoom past Earth on Friday, 3.5 million miles away, and discovered last month with a diameter of 525 feet, Great Pyramid sized, and the center classifies the body within 120 million miles of the Earth. These are the asteroids or comets that have been nudged by the gravitational attraction of the nearby planets into orbits that allow them to enter the Earth's neighborhood. Now, while the speed of these giant space rocks could theoretically cause catastrophic damage, if they were to hit Earth, you won't need to prepare for Armageddon just yet, experts say. Okay. And that's why they're doing the DART right now, the Double Asteroid Redirection Test, which comes straight out of the movie Armageddon, by the way. So I love how they keep mentioning Armageddon and try to make it all cute and shit for you. Astronomically, these are coming close to Earth, but in human terms, they're millions of miles away, and we can get no closer than millions of miles away. The center is expecting 7 asteroids to pass near Earth in the coming weeks. 2004 UE will be followed by 2016 JG12, which is predicted to be 3.4 million miles away from the planet a week later. The largest to travel near Earth is 2001 FO32, also known as Apophis, the god of chaos, which zoomed by in March. It was estimated to have a diameter of 1,100 feet. Notice they mention Apophis, right? That was the sign in the Revelations 12 prophecy. If you don't know that, now you know. Matter of fact, you can even see people like Israeli News talking about the same thing, which I'm going to go ahead and play a little sound clip from here.
Here with Israeli News Live, and finally we do have a link for you for this particular freedom rally that's going on in the Panhandle of Florida, Pensacola, Florida to be exact. And so I wanted to make sure you guys are aware. You can get more information. You know, I can't say a whole lot. Cat blocking the light to the camera here. But at any rate there, let me just kind of go over some.
In the Torrid complex, we are currently in the Torrid meteor shower. The southern Torrids active from September 28th through December 2nd. The northern Torrids start here in about a week on October 13th and last through December 2nd. And both of these meteor showers
And think about that too. It's the northern Torrids, which I think is the one that everybody's worried about the most. And they started just a week ago at the 13th. And when did the first big ass asteroid come by? You see what I'm saying? Like, and now they're rolling on through major size asteroids, and Jupiter got hit as well. So that lets you know that there's even bigger that are on the way if they're hitting Jupiter. Jupiter blocks a lot of shit from hitting the Earth, guys.
From Comet 2P Inky, we're going to come back and take a closer look at these potential large asteroids that are tucked away in the Torrid complex, the origins of the Torrid meteor shower. Speaking of meteor showers, we have a new one over here at spaceweather.com.
So kind of looking at that right there, and I'm not sure when Mr. MBB333 gets into the larger size ones. Let me see if it's here.
Meteor radar, and it's set up down here at McMurdo Station, right here in this location. In fact, we'll zoom
this
in
one's kind of
on
interesting
McMurdo.
right
We'll
here.
probably hear a ping or two in the background.
He's going to talk about just how many have already come in. I remember it was like
Somewhere in this location.
it was in the hundreds, if not hundreds. 403.
403, now 404, 405. That's that thing you're hearing. Yesterday, it was over 13,000, nearly 14,000. The last time I checked, you can see the peak down here, peaking at just over 2.
And of course, so you are looking at very small little meteorites that are coming in. In fact, I was on the phone with a good friend of mine, Matthew, with EMP Shield. And he was telling me that about the meteorites. Just as we're on the phone, he said, I just have seen 2 fly overhead here while we're out. Of course, I also live in an area where you can see extremely well those meteorites coming in. And of course, all these are mostly very small. But as I've said to you before, some of the things that have been shared with me over with people in Washington there, they're very concerned about 3 that are very large that could potentially cause catastrophic events on the Earth at the end of November.
And that's where this image comes from, allegedly, right? And you guys have heard me talk about this too. I don't know him, so I'm just letting you know that. I've never talked to this cat. We didn't come together and make this up. So how does he hear something that I hear from way different sources, way different shit? And this is supposedly the one they're sweating. You know, there's 3 of them, according to Banoon. But one in particular, large as fuck. And it's part of the Taurids. And if you look at what just hit Jupiter, like I said, that was big enough to decimate the entire Earth. Like, we would not even exist. The Earth would just be a pile of fucking dust if that was to hit us. Because it was bigger than the Earth. The impact was. You know what I mean? So that's all I'm saying when you put that into, you know, to looking at this, man. Put it into perspective. And you can see here, this is what was sent to me in the group. And it says, Smoking Gun, 50 years of study by Bill Napier, vindicated in a new paper. Taurid meteor stream pummels planet throughout human history and remains a menace. Nobel Prize for UK neo-catastrophist. And a comprehensive study on the Taurid meteor stream released last week confirms a central understanding of astronomer Dr. Bill Napier and the Comet Research Group, which was incorporated into the YDI hypothesis and that's a younger Dreyer, from the start in 2007. A large comet has been fragmenting in solar orbit for more than 20,000 years, and the resulting large and small pieces have traumatized biological Earth and human civilizations with cosmic impacts on and off since that time. Swarm of near-Earth comets linked to recent ice giant breakup. The longest studied comets in our solar system have inspired ancient myths, religious fervor, and modern scientific controversies. Now the discovery of 88 asteroids and meteoroids orbitally aligned with one of them, Comet Encke. I'm telling you, if you haven't seen the 999 completion, watch that shit. Suggests that they all formed from the relatively recent breakup of an even bigger icy comet. The findings are welcomed by those who believe Comet Encke and the other products of this astronomical event are responsible for many of Earth's violent and consequential impacts over the last 20,000 years. Matter of fact, after this video is over, I'll put a link like up here or something. That way you can just click on it when you're watching. Such a dynamic, unpredictable, and well-populated complex capable of frequently getting close to Earth stoked academic imaginations. Astronomers began to rewind the clock and look for evidence of Earth's interactions with the Taurids in the archaeological record and beyond. Scientist Richard Firestone, now at the Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory in 2007, invoked the Taurid complex to explain global climate cooling and the start of a near glacial period called the Younger Dryas, and the sudden demise of the Clovis culture, a prehistoric people thought to be the ancestors of the most indigenous peoples in the Americas. And last year, a team including Napier claimed to have found their own evidence of impact during the Younger Dryas. Melt glass, like a nuclear bomb, and scorched earth deposits that appeared to mark the demise of an early hunter-gatherer community in modern-day Syria. Long-time readers can be forgiven for their lack of surprise. The tusk and the pure... Oh, okay. My bad. Taurid complex, Smoking Gun. Using the secular light curve formalism, we have cataloged 88 probable members of the Taurid complex. 51 of them have useful secular light curves, and 34 of these, or 67%, exhibit cometary activity. the high percentage of active asteroids gives support to the hypothesis of a catastrophe that took place during the Upper Paleolithic when a large short period comet arriving in the inner solar system from the Kuiper Belt experienced and seeing, look, that's why they're looking at, and I showed a paper, it's been like a while, it's been a while ago, I don't even know what video it was in, but some of you will remember when we looked at the abstract on the trans-Neptunian objects, right, coming from the Kuiper Belt. This is what all the exoplanet shit's about, in case you don't know. That's what they're looking for. They don't give a fuck about an exoplanet, y'all. They care about a dwarf system that's coming from the inner solar system on an elongated orbit, right? An elliptical orbit coming up from underneath, going up over the sun. And this bitch is going to hit speeds that are breakneck. It's going to blow your hairpiece off if you got one when it goes ripping past. And it's going to scramble your head like soup with its magnetism because it's so strong. And this thing has nothing but a bunch of trash and garbage with it. And when you look at what they talk about when it comes to Comet Encke as well, they even say that all this shit in the Taurid complex, which let me show you another image of the Taurid complex, right? This shit in the Taurid complex couldn't come from Encke. It couldn't come from Encke. Encke ain't big enough to make this much in these big of asteroids. Encke's a monster, but it couldn't. And the last time Encke passed, Tunguska, Spanish flu, World War I. So just as kind of like, you know, nothing new under the sun, dude, right? Like, take a look now. You know, we about going into World War III, coronavirus, right? And what event are we going to get? You know what I'm saying? Like, probably a way worse one. And that's what they're saying. They're saying that Encke and all of this is like probably like a moon of something far bigger. And I showed you guys a video just the other day when I had Alex Lujan on that he captured. Dude, it's a giant fucking rock coming right at us, and it had a moon. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. And all of these scientific papers are saying the same thing, but you notice they don't push this on the mainstream at all. I gotta go dig these things up, right? And just by luck, one of you guys actually dropped this little gift in my hands, right? Other than that, man, I have to go dig up all these abstracts and these articles. Like, I have to literally, like, know where they're at to go find them, because even in a Google search, they won't pop up. Now, experience starting from 20,000 years ago, the series of fragmentations that produced the present Encke comet, together with a large number of other members, and remember, of the Taurid complex, remember, Encke is in that Nostradamus prophecy that happens at the same time that Apophis passes, and you see how they're mentioning Apophis in these other articles too. Remember, Apophis is also the model asteroid they use when they're talking about Dimorphos and Didymus, right? The big ass one with the moon. Okay, when it comes to the 2021 PDC, the hypothetical impact scenario that took place with NASA and all the world powers, where they failed 6 out of 7 simulations, and the whole fucking exercise wasn't to stop anything, dude. It was just for the aftermath, when we were devastated. That's all it was them practicing for cleaning your body up. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not to stop anything. So all this dark double asteroid redirection shit, it's so crazy. Matter of fact, I was actually looking yesterday, and the directed energies, the DEWs, that's what they're planning on trying to blast this thing apart as it already comes into Earth. Remember, I was showing you the paper where they said, let Earth take the impact. We'll just blow it to pieces as it comes in, like they did with Chelyabinsk, right? Before it hits the ground, you can see something shoot Chelyabinsk, and it breaks apart, which it only injured 1,200 people, and I mean, it was a big blast for something not that big. So they're using the directed energy weapons. That's what all of the launch of these 20,000 satellites and all of that. These things have multiple purposes, right? Just like with chemtrails. Yeah, it's nanoparticulates and it goes along with Mark of the Beast, but it also has refractive qualities and can bend and refract light to where you can't see what's coming in. So there's multiple purposes. Same thing with DEWs. They have the ability with the millimeter wave for the 5G and to be used as death rays and pain rays and heat rays and all these different systems of control and mass surveillance, but they can also flip them the other direction and use them as weapons or Star Wars. Remember Reagan and all that shit? They ain't forgotten, guys. Like, this has been in the works a long time. The deep underground military base systems have been in the works a long time. They've been down there forever. Matter of fact, I think they was expecting this shit to happen before I was ever born, and most of you were born. Think about Cold War and all of that. Those were just excuses to start building these bunkers, is what I believe, honestly. So, where was I at? Yes, the fragmentation of the progenitive body was facilitated by its heterogeneous structure, very similar to a rubble pile. And this also explains the current coexistence of the complex of fragments of different composition and origin. We found 2212 Hephaestus 169P, or NEAT, are active and members of the Taurid complex with their own subgroup. Other components of the complex are groups of meteoroids that often gives rise to meteor showers when they enter the terrestrial atmosphere, and very probably also the two small asteroids that in 1908 and 2013, see Tunguska and Chelyabinsk, respectively, when we see today in the Taurid complex the remnants of a very varied and numerous complex of objects characterized by an intense past of collisions with the Earth, which may continue to represent danger for our planet. And you notice in the articles that are showing these massive asteroids passing extremely close, right? Starting with us entering the northern Taurids, right? On the 13th there. One of the things they kept putting in those articles, oh, don't worry, right? NASA says no big deal. Now, among the surprises in the paper, the largest and last two major airbursts, and that's another thing, too. If you think about what Chelyabinsk was, and I think it was caused of the directed energy, I'm not sure, but it was an airburst. An airburst isn't an impact. They're very fucking different. An airburst blows up in the air before it ever hits the ground, okay? From the heat coming into the atmosphere or them, shooting a directed energy weapon at it or whatever they did, okay? An impact hits the ground, turns everything into glass, sends a blast wave of nuclear material, right? Incinerating people for miles around, okay? Like, it's very, very different. Very different. Matter of fact, it's a straight catastrophe if these things, hit and they got a large size to them. Airbursts are, they shatter windows. I mean, they sonic booms, and they have devastating effects, and they still fuck things up, but it's nothing like if it actually hits the Earth. Now, the surprises, the largest and two major airbursts to be widely recorded, are now much more closely linked to the Taurids. The Tunguska event of 1908 and the February 15, 2013 Chelyabinsk explosion share parentage with the same object that wiped out the mammoth. And remember what happened to the mammoth in the Adam and Eve story, which we've also shown on this, and that was part of the pole reversal. Remember, Nostradamus talks about a mountain being thrown into sea that will cause the land masses to rise and fall, right? So this thing has done this shit before. It hits so damn hard that it literally triggers us into pole shift. Think about that, dude. Seriously, think about that. An asteroid hit the planet so fucking hard, it makes the poles flip. You know what I mean? It's like, whoo, that's a knockout punch, dude. That's all I'm saying. It says, shares a parentage with the same object that wiped out the mammoth. And when the mammoth was found under the ice, they had flowers in their bellies. So they were just kicking it one day, chewing on, flowers and daisies and shit. And then the next thing you know, frozen, mud floods, entire poles reversing. And it's not like what you think where the earth flips upside down, right? It's literally a reversal of the field, causing the land to shift up from underneath you and the flipping over, pulling the water on top of everything. Now, it says that the mammoth and 250 other species and initiated the Younger Dryas climate crash. Think about that. The two most horrifying confirmed airbursts reported in newspapers are a direct result of a stream of debris which has interacted in a similar manner with our planet for 20,000 years. It's all of a piece. Now, and you can see here, matter of fact, see the intersection of the Earth's orbit with the Taurid particle stream, or the northern Alpha Taurids. And this is not the same dates, right? It starts October 13th this year, but they're showing you the intersection. And there's your big ass comet, Comet Encke, the same one in the Nostradamus prophecy. That's the occult figure that's revealed, right, by the light of Mercury. Between Mercury and the sun, and Venus is behind the sun in that prophecy. At the same time, Apophis passes the earth. All on the same day, the 1,260 days to the day in the Bible. And you can see here, Jupiter, the Taurid meteor stream, the Beta Taurids, Earth's orbit, the Alpha Taurids. And Jupiter just got smoked. You know, I'm just trying to tell you, man, this don't look too happy for everybody on this round. This very well could not be a very, very good trip with the Taurids, is what it's looking like. The paper also, without surprise, shatters Younger Dryas impact antagonists mark the Boslaw's weak attack here. Responded to by Dr. Napier, the Tusk, and others here in Proceedings of the National Academy note in the first link, Boslow's letter to PNAS, the other authors, David Morrison, Clark Chapman, and Alan Harris. Each of these men have been paid their entire careers, thankfully now wound down, to downplay impact threats and deny any historical incidents. They ignored hard science and worthy speculation on the Taurids for decades. The boss once told me personally in Flagstaff, Arizona, that he was unaware there was any particular threat from the Taurid meteor stream. And this was long before he ginned up in a WOPO fear porn article on the Taurids and never followed through with the research. Like Big Tobacco, the impact establishment, unlike almost all fields of science communication, has historically diminished the threat posed by their subject of study. The Tusk believes that this anomaly can be attributed to the intellectual fallout of the Cold War. See what I'm saying? This is where they were building the fucking bunkers, where existential dangers distracting from the U.S. military objectives were quickly swept under the rug. Perhaps for good reason, that is, until the Cold War ended and a pivot was made to diminish any threat which could not in some way be attributed to the anthropogenic warning. Napier, Victor Klube, David Asher, and their handy band of UK neo-catastrophists never gave up. However, publishing again and again and again without the slightest acknowledgement or follow-up from the U.S. science establishment. They deserve the Nobel Prize for unwinding the most influential factor in the development of Earth and human history. Humans and animals and rocks do not live in a closed system, but rather a world characterized by long periods of quiescence interrupted on discrete occasions by Earth's shattering collisions from beyond. This is the most important discovery in history, or it must be entirely refuted. The Tusk is waiting. And this is the actual paper here. Let me see if I can actually drop this link in the chat for everybody, so you can go read that on your own, man. Boom. There you go. Happy birthday. And I've got it on my own too. And see, you can tell that this is happening. I mean, the ET heads, they're all talking about ETs and their tunnels collapsing. Look at this shit. The shift is underway. This is a massive sinkhole. Opens up and looking like a canyon in Mexico.
In Mexico, a sinkhole measuring about 200 feet in diameter and 65 feet deep appeared in the state of Puebla over the weekend. Local authorities say it happened due specialists are investigating what could have caused that. 65 feet deep, 200 feet wide, practically a canyon. In Mexico.
What could have caused that? Well, Bob, the fault lines are actually where the energy escapes, right? It's because we're shifting, right? We know this. This is hilarious. I'll show that in a minute. And you can see that energy's coming in because of shit like this. Future reference, like you should wear a helmet when giant ice balls are fucking falling down and you're trying to film it. Can somebody say, "Oh hell no"? Oh hell no. And look, we have the volcanoes erupting too. This is La Palma, man. Remember, when talking about Herculobus, now his name, Ferrata, right? Carlos Ferrata said that there would be one that it would cause great seismic and volcanic activity out of Italy. And whether he's referring to Etna or La Palma, they're both rocking and rolling. You know what's super cool though, for real? The fact that humans, we've like evolved in such a way that every time the earth gets destroyed like this, we shift into like a higher dimension or a lower dimension. That just speaks to how like really cool we are. You know what I mean? Like we evolve with this stuff, and so does all the life on earth. Look at all the different periods. I've talked about this before. You can see mutations in all the life on Earth every time we get rocked by this stuff. It really speaks to how resilient the life is here on Earth, man. We get fucked up on the regular, right? And I did drop this in the shorts, but I want to show you too. This is from my Facebook. Now, Alex Lujan said this is a flare, but I don't know about all that, homie. This guy's, got a professional setup here. He's fucking got curtains and all types of shit draped over to make sure no light gets in, creating refractions with the lens. What the hell is this? And you can even see something red right here. See? Blue and red and black. Just so happens to match perfectly with the Nemesis system, right? The dark star, the red and the blue Kachina, and there's our sun, right? They're eclipsing it. And that's probably why they're using these mirroring systems and the nanoparticulates. It's blinding us and we can't see that this is going on. But look at that. That's the most damning evidence I've ever seen. Black hole sun, red and blue Kachina. Right there. It's all right there. So, take it or leave it, I guess. Speaking of Mr. Lujan, check this out. You can see the object zipping by in yet another SOHO image, right? This bitch is moving fast, y'all. Oh, and it gets even better. Hold on. I got some Rap the News videos as well. He just caught some awesome shit. Let me see if I can pull this one up. Alright. And, oh shit. I didn't have the sound on. I apologize for that. Check this out.
Switzerland. It is the planet Comet. She is using her windshield wipers so she can get a clearer view. She is filming this in her car. You can clearly see the ball that is the planet inside a dust cloud like we've been telling y'all for all these damn years. And now we are feeling the effects of this red iron oxide planet. Here it goes again in Ecuador. Now a guy rolls his window down to film it a little bit clearer out of his car in Ecuador, right? Same comet planet. Here it is again in Thailand. Somebody on a motorcycle was driving and spotted it, and you can see the craters and everything else in this comet planet hell. You can see the lava pits craters when we zoom in close on this planet, right there.
And
this is the 2 million mile long debris tail of the destroyer. Inside is dust, meteorites, comets, fire, hail, brimstones, you name it, it's in there. And Earth is going to run into this debris tail as it is recorded. That we are going to be pounded by this and Babylon will be destroyed in 1 hour. With that said, we have the sun here on the horizon, which is not the sun. It is the destroyer sitting out there with lava pits all in it. That is where the lake of fire is located. The Bible states that hell, which is this planet right here, Earth, will be thrown in the lake of fire on that planet because that is where it is. People is dreaming about the lake of fire being on that planet, volcanoes and everything else. That is the global warming. This is why everything is a mess on this earth. It's messing with the minds of the people. It is messing with the volcanoes. It is starting the earthquakes and the foul weather patterns. Here it is again, blinking in the damn air. Watch. To worship Christ is idolatry.
Oh, look at this shit right here. Hold on. I gotta show y'all something. Hold on. Hold on.
Right here. Here's another one. And remember, we're going in the torus.
2 million mile long debris tail that is trailing behind the destroyer. In broad daylight, we see the hailstones, and as we put a filter on these hailstones, we are going to see the meteorites as well. So we got fire and ice going through the sky in broad daylight.
Now think about that, dude. You know, it just so happens you got the largest fucking asteroid you can think of slipping on past our ass here, starting on the 13th of October with the Northern Taurids. I just showed you scientific abstracts, right? On the Taurids and how they, Chelyabinsk, Tunguska, Younger Dryas, these things smoke our ass every time we go through them. It's not a debate, all right? And they start from the 13th and they go into December. I showed you the leaked image. Same one Israeli News Live is talking about. Don't know him. Don't know Rep. Don't know none of these people. But yet we all get different information, different places, correlating the same shit. Just saying. And there's your observable evidence. So just mute what the fuck we say. Just look with your own eyeballs. Right? It's right there for everybody to see. Where's it coming from, dude? Those aren't ETs either. So goofy. People think that everything's a fucking UFO. UFOs are not, pounding into the planet. Unless they're kamikaze, right? Which don't even make no sense if they're supposed to be a super intelligent race. That's dumb as fuck. But besides the point, you see the volcanic activity. La Palma, Etna. I mean, I could go on and on. We got the most volcanoes erupting in the history of mankind. The highest seismic activity in the history of mankind. I just showed you a giant ass sinkhole opening up in Mexico. We've seen them in Russia. And of course, the disinfo agents. What do they say? Oh, it's a fucking ET portal. You idiot. It just so happens to be on a fault line where energy escapes out from the center of the earth. Come on, man. You got to understand, these people got an agenda. They got an agenda. And it's for you to die. That's the agenda. There's no ETs barreling under the ground making giant fucking fault lines. They're not flying around in ice balls in the sky. Don't even make no sense. I don't know why people keep falling for this shit. But they do. They do. See right here. This is NASA. Are they lying too? Right? Everybody can't be lying. And then you see here. This is the new pole migration data. Years versus miles. Do you see that, son? See that sharp increase? And the new data too, we're swiftly moving our asses toward that point, that 40-degree point. This just came out. This is this month, October. Every 17th of the month, I believe, Maverick Star Reloaded, which I'm going to go through his ad here first and then show you. Look at that. This is each month. Those are the last couple of months. I told you just 2 months ago how the migration in the magnetic poles increased by 18% in the last 3 months. That was 2 months ago I said that. Now peep it.
And for those that are following it on their own Google Earth maps and they want the pin, latitude and longitude, they are as follows. So the latitude is 82 degrees by 51 hours, 40 minutes, 4 seconds north. And the longitude is 120 by 36 hours, 30 minutes, 80.
God damn, look at that, guys. That red line is 2019. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you can remember way back when we were here. There's a black line. We were watching this black line be created. Look at that. Do you see? Look, my cursor fits in between it now. 40 degrees. It's where magnetics break down in reverse. Man, that is unbelievable. That is unbelievable. Just seeing it in real time. Look, 2019 to now. Do you see how far we've jumped? Right, look, 2015 to 2019. We went the same distance in 5 years as we went in the last year. Last 2 years. That's showing you the speed, how it's picking up. And seeing in that time, that was what, 10 years, 20 years, 100 years? See how it's like doubling and doubling and doubling and doubling? I told you guys, man. At the current trajectory, the last month, it would have been 17 months till pole shift. We're not going to make it that long because it keeps picking up in speed.
22 seconds east. And I'll just close that down so you can see the actual distance that it's covered. Sorry, it's 5.09 miles, so just under 5.1 miles in the last 30 days or so. So there you are, guys. I'm going to zoom out so you can see now where we are over the Atlantic Ridge and where we are with regards to the corridor that we've been tracking, and how close we are to the 40-degree mark. You'll just see now coming into view the ridge. I'm just going to clear the ruler tool off, and you will see we are now almost slap bang over the mid-Atlantic ridge over the northern hemisphere, and you can also see how close we are to the 40-degree mark. We know in which direction the pole is likely to end up at some point in the future. If we just zoom out, we can see there the new North Pole mark is in central Russia, just below the Arctic Circle and just below Siberia, and that's where the magnetic pole is heading. We know that. That's where the intensity over Russia is increasing. Some of the other things we can predict might be the case is that the Arctic climate could be moving over there, and the reason why we say that is when we look at temperature charts and magnetic intensities, they are showing pretty much the same picture. The other thing to add is that we do currently have 2 magnetic poles over the northern hemisphere and 2 over the southern hemisphere, although when we look at the southern hemisphere, and we'll have to pull up the charts in the next few days so that you get a better idea. I know it's difficult to see that when we're looking at Google Earth maps, but take my word for it. We have one over the northern hemisphere in Canada, as you know. That one is weakening, and that is why the pole has begun to migrate over the northern hemisphere. We also have one in Russia where the magnetic pole seems to be heading directly towards, it's not far off the corridor that we're in line with, and that could start to accelerate over the next 17 months, especially when we cross the 40-degree mark. So, things are starting to get a little bit more exciting, and
you could say that again, bro. Starting to get a little exciting. But, none of this is happening, right? This is all a conspiracy or some shit, right? And remember, I told you, there were telltale signs of all of this stuff in the past, and I'll tell you some of them. A was, yeah, that's funny. Where's it at here? The sun, and its intensity. Right? The sun and its intensity, which we know that we've shifted into maximum. That was one of them. Another sign was the Arctic ice melting. And when the Doomsday Glacier broke, that's when they knew it was go time. That's when the Anunnaki got in their ships and went to the sky. Huge hole. The last ice. See? I'm not making none of this up, guys. They're rolling out the mark of the beast, I told you. And see, this is the new narrative now. How could a nuclear bomb save the Earth from a stealthy asteroid? But then in the same other side of their neck, climate change from nuclear war's smoke could threaten global food supplies and human health. Do you see what I'm saying? They talk out of both sides of their fucking neck. This is what they do. Oh, we need to shoot off a nuke to stop an asteroid. But the nuke's going to starve you. And most idiots will believe both sides of their neck. Because they're not going to look into either one. They're just going to take their word for it. Sad. It really is. It's sad. Sad to see people like this. But it's and I hate to even say this, it sounds evil to say it, but it's like, not the innocent people and the kids and stuff like that, but think about a lot of these people that are going to be wiped out by this. Are we really losing quality people? You know? Are we really losing quality people? The answer is no. You know, they could have been quality people, but they chose not to be. You know? And they would burn you and I at the stake for saying these things too. Right? They would. They would burn us alive for telling them the truth. Giant hail, 26 dead, floods and landslides in India. China's energy crisis. Yeah, okay. 3 killed in an earthquake. Bali, Indonesia. Winter storms. They worsen supply chain. So which is it? Is it because we're buying a bunch of shit? Is it because of winter storms? Is it because you guys are telling the shipping to just sit there? Is it because of China? See what I'm saying? It's both sides of their neck. Hurricane Pamela, life-threatening storm surge, dangerous winds, flash flooding and mudslides. Notice how it's all the crust in the land shifting though? Landslides, mudslides, sinkholes. Do you see what I'm saying? And you're that close to that point of shift. Potent weather storms shift into the 4 corners. Bright fireball, Southern California. Farmers in Cali abandoning their fields. They're not abandoning their fields. They were made to burn that shit down, more than likely. Just like all the ones throughout the Midwest were. Major snowstorm, Wyoming, creating traffic jams and bringing wildfire relief. The asteroids. Earthquake hits off Crete, the Mediterranean Sea. Volcano in Italy. Vanuatu. 6.1. Notice how the seismic activity is going along with these volcanoes now too. It lets you know, man, it's getting intense. Experts seeking public help after meteorite smashed through a residential roof in British Columbia. See what I'm saying, guys? Like, it's no joke. And let's see what happened with the volcanic activity as we shift into the northern torrids, just for shits and giggles. Let's just take a look. New activity was reported for 2 volcanoes from the 6th to the 12th. During the same period, ongoing activity was reported for 12. So that's 14 fucking volcanoes just in this little period here. And you can see Ira, Kyushu, Japan, Kadivar, Papua New Guinea, Karaminski, Eastern Kamchatka, Russia, Luatolo, Lambada Islands, Indonesia, Marapai, Central Java, Indonesia, Nevados de Chilean, Chile, Pablo, United States, Sabancaya, Peru, Semipokno and the Aleutian Islands, Shevluk, Central Kamchatka, Russia, Stromboli, Aeolian Islands in Italy, Swasen, Sojima, Ryukyu Islands in Japan. Damn, there were some hard names to pronounce. And I love this, on a lighter note. Despite good intentions, it didn't take long. And you can see how it started, how it's going. Boston Dynamics condemns Spot's Rampage event that will mount paintball gun on a robot. And you can see the little dog robot, and then look at what it's turned into. Robot dogs can now have 6.5 millimeter assault rifles mounted on their backs. Don't you just love the way the world's going? Matter of fact, I posted a short too where it's got one of the princes, Prince Charles or Andrew, one of those fuckers, and they're like sitting there and it's like the hyper flesh mask, him and his wife. Like, people are wearing the hyper flesh, and you can't even tell the difference. I mean, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. The world we live in right now. And people are none the wiser either. That's what's the wildest part about it. You got Christianity telling you, You're not in the tribulation. Sure you're not.
Ghost Robotics and Sword International have teamed up to create a rifle-toting robot dog called the Special Purpose Unmanned Rifle, or SPUR. The system adds a 6.5mm Creedmoor rifle from Sword to one of Ghost Robotics' quadrupedal unmanned ground vehicles, or QUGVs. According to the company, SPUR can be remotely ordered to shoot at targets and to save the gun when done. This appears to be the first example of one of these unmanned systems with an actual weapon mounted on it. Unarmed examples of the QUGV are notably already in limited use with the U.S. Air Force's 325th Security Forces Squadron at Tyndall Air Force Base in Florida and are being tested by other units within that service. The Sword Defense Systems Special Purpose Unmanned Rifle, or SPUR, was specifically designed to offer precision fire from unmanned platforms such as the Ghost Robotics Vision 60 quadruped. Featuring safe, chamber, clear and fire capabilities that allows for safe and reliable deployment of the weapon system, providing the operator an ability to load and save the weapon at a distance. These features also provide the operator the ability to clear malfunctions and safely unload the platform prior to recovery. Chambered in 6.5 Creedmoor allows for precision fire out to 1,200 meters. The SPUR can similarly utilize 7.62 NATO cartridge for ammunition availability. Due to its highly capable sensors, the SPUR can operate in a magnitude of conditions, both day and night. The Sword Defense Systems SPUR is the future of unmanned weapon systems, and that future is now.
Hooray! Right? That future's now. Lucky us. Yeah. He says, by the way, we should stop calling these dogs because dogs are way better than these toasters. This is what they're doing, man. I mean, I truly believe AI has shifted into control of humanity, without a doubt. Without a doubt. And that's why we're in this state. And I've done videos on it, and I'm not done doing videos on it. I will have more on the assimilation. But goddamn, we're letting these bastards just create the killing machines. They're going to use to hunt us down and shit. It's just crazy. And you see, like, from presidents to everything, they're just... How have people gotten so damn stupid that they can't see that they're being set up for their death in every area of life? And nobody cares. Nobody cares. It's like, man, chill out, John. Quit being so negative. That's doom and gloom, man. You're right. You're right. I'll just stop with the doom and gloom. And we can see here a total of 1,652 independent bursts were detected within 47 days from the National Astronomical Observatory. I can't talk today. Over 1,500 cosmic explosions have been detected by astronomers. I really can't talk. 47 days, and of course scientists are baffled. It's a bombardment, an alien bombardment. Nope, not an alien bombardment. I just showed you guys the other day. These signals matched, the same things that dwarf stars give off of. So I got an idea where the signal's coming from. Do you? The international research team caught an extreme episode of cosmic explosions from fast radio burst. An amazing total of 1,652. They were detected within 47 days, starting on the 29th of August. And this is the largest event so far, more than the number reported in all publications combined. It allows for the determination for the first time of the characteristic energy and energy distribution of FRB, thus shedding light on the central engine powering FRBs. And if, well, I got another one right here. See? Somebody wants our attention. Yeah, could it be that giant fucking planet barreling towards you? Possibly. And here you go. This is blaming you. America has actually imported a significant amount of product in the past 8 months, which can explain why the country is in the middle of an epic supply chain congestion. No congestion. I mean, I can show you the video. The bottom line is they're stopping all this shit. They're leaving it sit. They're trying to create a shortage. They're trying to starve you out. That way you'll take that mark. Just like, get this, the same people in the medical field and all of that, FEMA, when they replaced them, they received letters saying that the people who quit their jobs, which they were fucking fired because they didn't go along with it, that when they quit their jobs, that they basically quit not because they were forced, because they chose to. I mean, dude, and the people believe this shit too. People buy into this. Dude, did you not just see the fucking mandates? You know, does anybody not see what's going on around here? You know, hello? Anybody home? No? You know, I just don't get it.
Alone, and I think we can tell by Earth asteroid numbers over here at spaceweather.com. The darker shades are ones that came in between the Earth and the Moon. That's not counting the ones that impacted the Earth and that were reported over here at the American Meteor Society. And again, these are just the ones that were reported. If we look at the 16th, you can see there were 3 separate reports on the 16th alone, yet another report on the 15th, one on the 11th, and these are just the ones that were reported, not counting the probably dozens that were not reported. 87 out of Arizona, California, Nevada, 39 reports out of British Columbia and parts of Europe, another 44 reports from Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas, and those were all just from last night. Yet another 42
all over the world. See how compartmentalized the news is? And see the shadow ripping past, and this is from the nanoparticulate. That's why you can't see the stuff.
Oh, the sun on the waters. People working down below as well. This is a morning rise, folks. Something astronomical is showing up. This area is very interesting. When you think about it, it is becoming much stranger on a...
And look, you can see it's round. You can see it. It's a dark star. This thing's gonna wreak havoc too, man. You know, it already is. In a hell of a bunch of ways. You know, it already is. Fact check. Does this picture show an advertisement for an elite global leaders conference being held in Rome? Look, they try to correct this because people are dropping that meme, right? Talking about the one at the Vatican coming up. And they fact check it, and then, yeah, there is one, by the way. But the Vatican didn't certify it. So this is how they do you with the fact checking shit, man. You know, they're just... And people are so fucking... Here you go. Here's Mars. This is hilarious.
going through the canyons, and look what I found. I believe I found this so-called planet, the planet on Earth.
Oh, what do
that
you
we
know?
was all so-called trusting in, believing every word that NASA said, but everything is on Earth. When they say, hey, we discovered another planet, no, we discovered another land. That's what we discovered. So
He fucking found it. He found the Mars setup on Earth. How golden is that, dude? It tells you fucking so insane. They're lying to you.
on Mars. That's right. There it is right there. Mars Society Desert Research Station. Why is there a Mars Society Desert Research Station on Earth? Why is it research station on Earth? Why are you researching Mars on Earth? Why? I know you gotta use your laboratory on Earth, but you making it seem like you're on Mars. You making it seem like you're on Mars. Look at that. All I gotta do is add just a red filter and you will believe it's Mars. There go your team of people right there. Mars research. Your black cars. It's crazy. This is...
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, man. They're on some straight bullshit. Now, if they would lie to you about this stuff, I mean, honestly, don't you get it by now? They're lying about everything else, too. Civilians, the punishments. Ooh, they're gonna punish you if you don't get it. Well, I say, bring it on, bitch. The 2021 Hunter Moon rises this week as a meteor shower peaks. When you see the next full moon, the Orionid meteors in the fall blood moon eclipse. Does anybody know anything about a blood moon? I do. Let me tell you, right here. Eclipses. Total solar eclipse means world is in trouble, right? Lunar eclipses are bad omens for Israel or God's chosen people. And a blood moon means coming of a sword, right? The fall blood moon eclipse. Let's see when that's taking place. The first full moon of fall will appear this week. The same night, the fall meteor shower peaks, setting up a lunar eclipse next month. The October Hunter Moon will happen at 10:56 a.m. local time Wednesday, but the moon will appear full the night before and after. The moon rises Tuesday, blah, blah, blah. Now let's go to the blood moon. The Orion meteor shower also peaks Wednesday night. An average of 10 to 20 Orion meteors, tiny debris left by Halley's Comet, are seen at peak. And went to see the 12 full moons. And let's go down here. Right here. Partial lunar eclipse. November 19th. And it's a blood moon. So that means a sword is coming. And it's a lunar eclipse, which is a bad omen for Israel. So put those two together. What does it mean? A sword is coming for Israel. Right? And where are we at in those trumpets and seals again? I know this is a bunch of pseudoscience, mumbo-jumbo bullshit, but let's just take a look here. Let's see if any of it makes any sense. Right? What was I telling you? The law and obligation and all of that, right? And the green meaning to comply, death and Hades. And then lo and behold, when the fifth seal opened, I saw under the altar of souls who had been violently killed. Well, fuck. What do you know? Right on time. Right on time. Right on time, dude. See, you can't make this shit up. Honestly, you can't make this shit up. Matter of fact, I wonder if this is why they do stuff like this. Here, let me hit you with this. Some of you guys have seen these, some of you have not. So let me share.
All that shit up there. Big boxes. Here we go. Little aerial view. Somebody said 180 boxes. That's a lot more than that. Or 180 pallets or whatever. A whole lot more than that. Alright. All people talking all that shit.
I wonder what this is for. Why do they need
Tell me what this says.
cadaver bags? What do they put in a cadaver bag? Anybody know? Do you see how they was preparing for all this right under your fucking nose? You know what I'm saying? And look who's rolling it out. FedEx. Your trusty federal government once again. You know? We watched all this, guys. This is all happening. I mean, people are just clueless to this shit.
Oh, look at this shit right here. Hold on.
Remember her?
I gotta show y'all something.
And what she seen driving across out of Georgia
I'm trying to get this truck.
9 months ago.
I'm trying to get this truck to
Right? And what are these? They're CDC coffins. They're not FEMA coffins, guys. Most people don't know that. They're not FEMA coffins. They're CDC coffins. By the way, who's in charge of all this shit going on right now? Just wondering. Right? Oh, you know, COVID and all that. CDC coffins. Very different. You're worried about FEMA. When the real asshats have been under your nose the whole time. FEMA's just here to clean the shit up after they kill you. Wake the fuck up, people. Like, I'm not playing, man. You can call me doom and gloom if you want. If it saves your ass, then I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like, if this is what gets you through it, me dooming and glooming you, then doom and gloom it away. I don't care, man. I want people to know what's up. And that's all I care about. Your supplies. I mean, I can, you know, show you videos of them burning your fucking crops, culling the sheep, the cattle, the pigs, dumping out crude oil. They're creating these things. Oh, yeah. The first photo of another solar system. Does this look familiar? It looks like a cross to me. I wonder if we got anything else that looks like that. I'm willing to bet we do. Just me knowing me. I've got a picture right waiting for you. Here, let me show you. See? It's just the system. This is what's coming. This is what's coming, man. You know? And and look, even William Shatner, this is what's fucking crazy as shit. Let me see if I can find this real fast. William Shatner, bust this out on everybody. Dude. When William Shatner's dropping truth bombs, shit's gotten out of control. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? When you get more news from Shatner than you do the actual media, I think we got a problem, y'all. You know, something's happened. As a matter of fact, I was watching Alex Jones, and guess what he was mentioning just 2 days ago? The Smith-Mundt Act. There was this channel on YouTube that's been talking about the Smith-Mundt Act for years and how it was legal to lie to you. I forget what the name of the channel was. Best damn, really handsome host. I mean, he was gorgeous. Yeah, I'll think of it before the show's over, I'm sure. But I mean, you know, it's legal. They can lie to you now. They've been able to do this. This is how, and it's the same propaganda that they use on their enemies. I don't know why this shitty ass website's not loading. And I tell you what, my private show that's coming up, I'm gonna blow your fucking mind. More shit under the microscope, showing the stuff crystallizing. These people aren't gonna be able to die, dude. They're not gonna be able to die. When it talks about they'll seek death and not find it, I know why now. I've seen it now. Under microscopes. Okay, come on, Shatner. Here, I'm just gonna go to the YouTube then. Shit. You can always tell when I'm doing a show on some devastating shit. I cuss a bunch. Don't know what it's up with that, but I do. Right here. And we'll get to this little commercial here, and I'll show you. Let me make sure you have sound. Okay, or we'll just watch the commercial for a long time. There we go.
7:42 with our series, The New Space Race. And this morning, the Star Trek legend who can now truly say he has boldly gone where so few have gone before.
Yeah, at the age of 90, Bill Shatner made history yesterday
Bill?
when he and 3 others shot off into space on that Blue Origin rocket, an event watched all around
the
world.
giant
And
dick.
fresh from that voyage into the final frontier, Mr. Shatner is with us live to tell us all about it. Good morning.
You did it.
I hope we have a time enough to get through all the impressions. The first thing I want to say is the irony. I have an album out there called Bill right now. It's getting great reviews. And there is a song that we wrote called So Far From the Moon, in which at that time, the song...
Oh, God, we better go out and cop that, right? It's an album called Bill. I so want to hear that.
Relates to 55 years ago. I lay in a pasture for a number of reasons, looking up at the sky, seeing the astronauts walk on the moon, and I was so far from the moon. And 55 years later, here I am, a little closer to the moon than you guys, but the irony of it strikes me.
What, you know what? I watched you right after the moment you walked out of that capsule, and honestly, I thought you seemed starstruck. You just seemed so totally overwhelmed by the experience.
You know, prior to going up there, lying in that chair, trying to think of something clever to say when I came out, when, you know, if everything worked, and I see the little blue orb, and I was trying to think of something clever to say, and then we get up, and when I was there, everything I thought...
Lying in the chair, and you seen the little blue orb, that was supposed to be you, homie. You were supposed to be the blue orb in the sky. You see, like, they didn't go no fucking where, but anyways.
Thought might be clever to say went out the window because the experience going at 2,500 miles an hour, breaking through this little thin blue skin that surrounds Earth, that provides us with life. We broke through that with a count of 1 or 2 at 2,500 miles an hour, and the skin is 50 miles thick. Broke through, and all of a sudden, the blue is down below, and the blackness of space. Now, space is interesting. The universe lies there, but at that moment, in that big window, it was only black and ominous, and that was death, and this was life, and everything else just stood still for a moment. I was overwhelmed with the experience, with the sensation of looking at death and looking at life, and this, you know, what's become a cliche of how we need to take care of the planet, but it's so fragile. People say, "Oh, it's fragile." No. There's this little tiny blue skin that is 50 miles wide, and we pollute it, and it's our means of living. And I was struck so profoundly by it.
That was such a beautiful, beautiful sentiment, and it brought you to tears. So you're 90 years young. What's the big?
I keep hearing that. And another factor of this whole thing is I keep saying, yeah, no, I'm not 90. I ride horses. Or that. The whole physical experience of mounting that gantry, of getting into that chair, of being weightless, of having 5Gs, and suddenly, as I'm coming down, I'm thinking, you know something? I'm 90 years old.
You came back down to earth.
Oh, yeah, unfortunately. Yeah.
Yeah. How did it feel physically up there for you?
Well, we had a simulator. They simulate what they say you're going to feel, and it doesn't come anywhere near. So here you're going to be in weightlessness, and you got to grab a hold of something. Don't push too hard with your hands.
That is not fucking real.
Just use your fingertips because you'll bounce off the ceiling and run. You can talk about weightlessness all you want, but the feeling of weightlessness, the actual feeling of weightlessness, is indescribable. First of all, your guts, your body doesn't have any pressure, so suddenly your body's expanding. Secondly, take this, and it's over in an instant as you hit the air. That air that I'm talking about, the 50 miles of air, comes like a thud as the spaceship hits the atmosphere, and suddenly you're in 5Gs. And then you know that the parachutes should deploy, and will they? Bang! They deploy, and you think, okay, I'm going to be all right unless. And then they've got boosters on the bottom of that thing, so you don't hit it too hard. And if they don't go off, something terrible will happen. And they do go off, and that's startling. The whole thing was indescribable. Yeah. So all this rehearsal we did, training they call it, I call it rehearsal. You're in and out of those chairs using muscles, and in this case, 90-year-old muscles that are unaccustomed. I am stiff and sore, and I ache. And
well, what a thrilling 10 minutes. It had everything. We're so happy that you're here.
Back.
It had
feels
everything.
Good. Yeah.
And the realization, once again, the fragility of this planet, coming catastrophic event, and we all have to clean this act up now. Everything.
Good. Yeah.
And the realization, once again, the fragility of this planet, coming catastrophic event, and we.
Yeah. You see, his 90-year-old mind is not that fucking sharp, or he's, just arrogant like all the others. He talked about the rehearsal, the simulation, how he looked at the blue orb in the window. I mean, he gave it away that it wasn't real, by the way. And then he slips up at the very end, the coming catastrophic event. It's just... And, and I showed this the other day, the Alex Jones deal, and he talks about an asteroid coming to hit the Earth, killing 3 billion people. It's just like these people are so fucking arrogant with this stuff, man. It's not even funny. Well, Netanyahu tells Putin that he would be back soon after the election. Of course he did. October skies bring full moon and meteor shower. Guys, I just don't know how to put it any clearer to people anymore. It's right in your face. You either have the eyes to see or you don't. You either are with it or you're not, at this point. And I'll tell you what, most of the people that aren't, I don't know if we're losing very much by, I'm keeping it real. Think about the human condition. And I mean this. It's like some real shit right now. Think about these people, man. They tear each other apart. They're divisive. They're selfish. They're violent. They're stupid. By choice, they're stupid. They want someone to take care of them and tell them how to live and what to do. I had a conversation on the phone with a very good person, by the way. Not a stupid person, but a good person. And, I could see the programming, how it latches a hold of people. And this was coming from an honest, like, good place. The person's asking me questions about some of the things that are going on right now. And, you know, they're a Christian. And they were surprised, like, to find we're in the tribulation. It's like, yo, man, we're in the mark of the beast is here. What do you mean? You know, but none of these pastors are telling them that. None of the so-called prophets are telling them that. They come up with all this thus saith the Lord shit and trying to make delusions from their own mind the word of God, right? Like, oh, God said this is a reprieve because Trump got elected. You fucking idiot. Yeah, right. You know, if his word's unchanging, or which is it? Did thus saith the Lord just through you for all of us, so we should just listen to you? Or is his word unchanging? Which one is it? Make up your mind. You know? And if you guys are so with it, then why are you lining people up for the mark of the beast? You know what I mean? And then your flock, good people, mostly, I believe. I believe most people that are Christians are good folks. I just think they're misled. Good people. They're told in Romans to obey their government. I just got a text once about Romans. Questions about that. Like, these are the questions I get every single day. Every single day. And it's mostly Christians that are lost. The most lost. Now you tell me how that works. You know? And they believe we're all going to hell because we're not them. It takes a upside down evil motherfucker to do the things that they've done to the population. And these are supposed to be the stewards of the earth. The people responsible, the illuminated ones. You know? And everybody wants to join them too on top of it. It's like, look at that. Do you see that striped bastard shooting past the sun right here? I froze it for you. You see? Do you see that? It's not made up. It's not a hypothetical planet. What's hypothetical is space in general. They don't know no more than you do. Why are you looking to these liars for answers? The ones who silence anything that goes against what they say. You know why they do that? Because they're afraid. They're afraid of what's different, and they're afraid of disagreeing opinions because they know theirs is fucking wrong. If it was true, dude, I openly challenge anybody, you know? Go ahead, man. Put my shit to the test. Prove me wrong. Said it for years. People think I'm an arrogant asshole for it, but that's what you do with the truth. You say, okay, this is open for debate. If you got something better, let me know. And people have corrected me on some things over the years. And when they do, I admit it. There's no shame in it. We're supposed to be learning. When did it become this big ego pride trip? Like, oh no, what I say the first time around has to be it forever. Or, you know, you'll get the people judging your personal life. That's why I don't talk about my personal life anymore. It's done nothing but bring me grief, man. They think if they attack things like they've had some perfect life, you know, and they've never made mistakes or stumbled or anything in their lifetime. It's so crazy. And this is the environment we're in right now, is my point. You know. And no matter how maligned and attacked and all of this, what are we going to do? We either keep pushing forward or we give in to the shit. And I don't feel like giving into it, you know? I feel like as long as we got a chance, you know, to try and bring more people to this side, we keep going. We keep trying. What else are we going to do? You know, if God wants to save everybody, then I guess I'm with that plan. You know, even the ones we don't think deserve to be saved. Somewhere down inside them is a good, decent human being. somewhere. They just lost it. You know, they lost track of who they were through all this shit. The mirage, the illusion of life. You know? But we got to make sure we don't lose ourselves is the most important thing right now. Somebody has to lead. That's obvious now. I hope you know that. That's very obvious now. These people are without compass. They're without direction. Someone has to lead. It's you. If it's not you, then who? You want to let the ones that are trying to lead everybody take control? Or keep control? If so, you know the direction we're going then. Not a good one. You know, they're leading them all to the slaughter. Intentionally. They're very conscious of this. And see, they've all been warped in their minds and brainwashed into thinking that, genetically they're superior and all of this as they point the finger to different races and call them supremacist and all of this. It's all to create division. They believe those things. They believe they're superior to all of us. They believe they deserve life and we don't. They take all from the sweat of your brow, right? All the work you do, and they siphon all that wealth off to create bunkers for themselves to go hide in. And they use the money that you created, right, out of your work to spin illusions for you. That way you're none the wiser. That way you die. You know. And these illusions, they infect communities like this all the time. They create them up out of nowhere, out of thin air. The whole pedo gate and shit. Don't you understand? Those are all psyops. You can tell. Look at its fruits, man. Do the Trumpers and the Q-tards, do they look to be any closer to the truth than when they started? Or are they still running around screaming, trust the plan, and the arrests are about to be made? How many years later, after the guy's out of office? You see? It's just to get them spinning in circles. You know, keep their heads rolling so they don't ever actually... And what's sad is they got railroaded. Most of them were probably on the path to truth, but they fell in that trap instead. They got snared by it. You guys are the lucky ones, man. You really are. It might not seem like it. Most of us are isolated as hell. You know, I am. We're black sheep in our families, amongst our friends, if we have any left. You know. On government watch lists. They interfere in our everyday lives. But it's all going to be worth it in the end. It really will, man. To me, this whole life, this whole thing is like a game. But it's a test of your character. Like a test of will. You know, and that's what they're doing. They're breaking everybody's will right now. With the division, the religion, the politics, supply shortage, food shortage, hyperinflation. Can you not see? These are all different things to break your will. The punishment for civilians. Break your will. They do it through fear, shame, and guilt. And violence. I post videos about this stuff too, and I will see people in the comment section, especially on TikTok, where they're literally making excuses to hate people. Like, no, they're white people, they're privileged. And it's like, who cares what color they are? You know what I mean? Who cares? We're all people. Shouldn't the rule be that we shouldn't treat none of each other like shit? Shouldn't that be the golden rule? The rule of love? Nobody lives under that rule. They don't worship that God. The true God, who is the God of love. Right? And you can tell by their fruits. From the mouth, the heart speaks. Listen to what they talk about. Listen to how they try to direct you into anger and tell you that you need to rise up and overthrow the government and all of this. From the mouth, the heart speaks. That's violence in their heart. It's anger in their heart. Not righteous anger at watching people die and all of this. They want vengeance. They want revenge. Because of their pride. So, well, it is what it is, man. I mean, nobody's perfect. We've all fallen for these different things. I have. I've fallen for 1,000,000 of them over the years. I've probably just been doing it longer than some of y'all. Some of you not. Some of you have been doing it longer than me. Doesn't matter how long we've been doing it, how many tricks we fell for. What matters is that we've arrived to the truth now. It's where we're at now, right? Like, we learn from our mistakes. That's what they're there for. They're lessons. They're not for us to dwell on, to hate ourselves, or beat ourselves up, or to hold against each other. They're there for us to learn. And we take them with us into the present moment, and we say, hey, all right, well, we know not what to do now, right? Well, we don't do that shit. You know, that didn't work out too well. You know, and we take them into the future. That way we can create a better path than the one we've been on, man. But if we're not loving one another, and I do believe this, yes, you should prepare for things that are coming. If you see storm clouds, you know it's about to rain, dude. You know, it's common sense. It's logic. It's got nothing to do with being a conspiracy theorist or any of that shit. Don't buy into that nonsense. It's called NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming. It's a form of mind control. Don't buy into that. You see storm clouds, it's going to rain. So prepare for rainy weather, right? Get you some dry goods, some food. Don't buy into the hype. But, you know, prepare as you can. Don't break yourself doing it, but get prepared. But just as important, in my opinion, is to sow good seeds, because it's the spiritual protection that will actually serve you the most. Help people around you and just be a good person, man. Be good to those around you. The number one concern I see from people, and I promise you, you know, I'm on 1,000,000 platforms with thousands of people on each one of them. You know, I get a lot of phone calls, a lot of texts, and the number one concern I get from people is, what am I going to do about my house payment? What am I going to do about my car? They're worried about the things of this world. Do you see how that dominates people? And that drives them to do things they don't want to do? That's why they're capitulating. They don't want to lose their shit. Their relationships aren't built on love, so their wife or their husband's going to leave them when they lose their shit. Because they don't actually love them, they love the shit they have. Or the shit they can give them. You see what I'm saying? Like, you can tell the person, man, by what's important to them. They'll tell you. They'll tell you. Ask a person their fears or concerns, and you'll see what matters to them most. And see, the governments know that. They've structured society in this way. That way you would become like this. And then they know where to hit you the hardest. Because they know what matters to you. Nobody cares about little Jimmy going to school and they can do whatever the fuck they want to do to him without your consent. But damn it, don't take that car. Don't take my crib. What? What about your soul? Oh, you can have that. This is what people care about now. And these people are walking themselves into their own pit. We can't stop most of it. The ones who are meant to come to the truth will, I believe. They'll be guided to it some way or another. They'll stumble across one of my videos or your videos or so-and-so's, whoever's telling the right thing at the right time, and when they're meant to see it, when they're ready to know it, you know? When they're, and it starts with you wanting to know it. That's it. Just saying, okay, show me. Let me see. You know? I'm done living in the fog. I want to know the truth now. And I'm ready to face it. You know, it's cowardice that keeps you in the dark. You're like, damn, I'm not cool with death. So if death is in there, I don't want to know about it. You got to be cool with it, because you're going to die one day. We all are. Right? Better to be cool with it now than later when you're actually dying. And if we overcome it now, then we can truly live. You notice how many people never live a real life because they're always afraid of dying? It's like you missed the entire experience because death held you captive the entire time. It's a wild thing, man. It really is. But that's how people operate. And they'll do anything to avoid it. I mean, I've seen in a million things that are just terrible. They'll sell out their own families, their own children sometimes, to avoid it. You know, it's just crazy. But they've got you by the balls, and it's through the system. That's why you're told, come out of her, lest you share in her destruction. Speaking of the Babylonian system. This is Babylon. It's a world system. Don't try to pin it down to one country, because it's everywhere. Then you'll make an excuse of why it's cool to buy into the Italian government instead of the United States. Just because the capital is here in the New York City, right? That's the capital of Babylon, New York City, not DC. And Babylon is thrown down like a large millstone thrown into the sea. With that same force, Babylon will be thrown down. Well, those millstones are rolling in. Hopefully, they miss us this time around, but it's not looking too good. In the state we're in, we're not too formidable of an opponent to the darkness right now. So, my advice is just get your house in order and be prepared and sow good seeds. Sow good seeds. Most importantly, sow good seeds. Seriously. Take care of people. Love people. And live. Live above all. Quit letting death control you and hold you prisoner. You know? If you really believe in Christ or Jesus or God or any of that, didn't he overcome death? Then what are you afraid of? You know, what's not right inside of you that makes you so scared? Face that. Face you. Then you will learn who you are. And once you know yourself, man, all the rest is just downhill, man. You're the biggest opponent you have, honestly. But you're also the biggest ally as well. You know, we all have everything within us. We're children of the Most High. So we have all things. Everything we need in this world we have inside. Trust me on that. No government can replace that. Nothing. You know, we don't need none of that. We existed before any of that, and we will exist far after that. We're so awesome that our planet gets destroyed over and over and over, and we just keep evolving and shifting into higher beings, better beings each time. We're made for this. And you know how I know that? Because we're never given more than we can handle by God. So if this is on our plate, it's because he knows we can handle it. So I'll leave it at that. I want to thank you guys for joining me. Serenity Lakefield, Mitty Van Hoos, Ancient but Still Here, Jobby over on Facebook, Michael Imoradino, I think. Lynn McGraw, Matthew Vance, Lower Class Citizen, what's up, bro? Raul Balcazar, Ariano, I think. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Thank you guys. I appreciate you all. Timothy Ellis, Phoenix I Am. Awesome, awesome guys. Cool, man. Alright, y'all. Hey, and everybody, please hit the thumbs up. Give this a like if you're watching this, especially if you're in the chat right now. You catch this on the flip side. After the video is over, if you can, just comment. It helps so much with the algorithms. It helps me a lot. Like, if you can't donate and stuff like that, just take a moment. Just a moment of your time is all I'm asking. To hit a like and just leave a comment. And if you have an extra moment, share the link. I mean, that's not too much that. If you get something from this video, will you do that for me? At the very least. And if you're able to support, if you're able to give, then please consider donating and supporting. Don't send me money requests. I got 2 money requests today. I don't know why people are like, hey, please support. And then they're like, no, you support me. Here, give me money instead. Please, I'm not going to pay you to watch. But if you want to support, you can. PayPal, Venmo, Patreon, Cash App, Facebook Messenger. The links are in the description. And, well, thank you. I love your truth too, man. It's our truth. Well, thank you, Chanel, Wildman. Love the love. Hey, isn't that the truth, y'all? Love the love. All right, guys. Thank you all for watching. Remember, Jesus is the truth, the way, and life. God bless you all. I love you, and I'll see you next time. Y'all have a wonderful evening. Peace.
Where you gonna go? Where you gonna run? Where you gonna hide? Nowhere. 'Cause there's no one like you left. That's right.
So what? Evil spirits taking over, now they running through my head. Telling me grip that fucking gun, telling me pop that fucking lead. It's a bird, it's a plane, no it's Satan in the flesh. I'm that dead motherfucker, steady smoking on that death. Satanic Holy Ghost, snort that holy dope. Infrared scope, with that dot right on your throat. I'm that scarecrow in the corner, welcome to my crucifixion. Graveyard living, murder itching, don't be superstitious. Demons got my back, I don't even fight it now. Black magic, voodoo power, suicide's exciting, I see.
Fuck a rapper. Put him on the fucking hole. I'd rather take a nap after I turn the blunt to ash. Creepy cracker on the chronic, feeling like a velociraptor. Pulling off the patch, but I ain't taking off the fucking mask. Heard them guys close their mouth with the fucking gas. Can't rap about a 5 times as no more. G5 now with a B sounds fine. Fuck a peace down, fine, dying. Life give me 11, but I wanna fuck a line, ain't got the time to die. Trying, bitch, I know I'll die alone. Either with a ditch or on the throat. Either way in the pit, I'm being thrown. Everything is nothing, then I'm fucking decomposed.
Dropping, niggas ducking.